Hello beautiful souls, this is Nikita Bhargav, and today I am going to be addressing one of the questions that one of my viewers has left because it's very relevant. I intended to by and by address it, and hence I was trying to take the story slightly chronologically so that you could start seeing what I mean. In today's audio, what I'll be covering, you would have found it naturally. So I do hope that even though I'm not yet taken you through all the stories, of course that's going to take a really long time, which is why, since the question has already come up, I thought maybe the time has come and maybe you'll start looking at the stories from a new perspective if you do go through this video. And I hope that all of you who are on this journey will definitely take a look at this. Now the question was that earlier, and specifically the viewer had seen my narration of Laila Majnu. If you haven't, please watch, check out my other stories and videos. So she asked that they were so much in love and the society separated them, but they both were pining and yearning, right? But in today's time we seem to find that one or the other, you know, they runs away or is indifferent to the feelings of the other twin. Here we are working on the assumption that you're actually with your twin, that you have done it all, you have checked and checked within yourself and made sure that you're with your real twin. And despite that, you find that the other person is just disappeared on you, or is not reciprocating, or is completely indifferent to your pain or your emotions for them. The first disclaimer, which you will think that all the teachers of this path are like on a broken record, but it's so relevant that we cannot start this topic without me having to repeat something you must have heard 10,000 times. It's about you. What they are doing, not doing. You have to forget that and focus on what you are feeling, why you're feeling, where is it coming from. Don't shoot the messenger. I'm just answering a few questions. Okay. Now, if you were to look at Laila Majnu's story, they were all heart. They met, they recalled their connection, they fell in love, and they just, when they were separated, if you look at it, they were all heart. There was all telepathy, there was intuition, they were constantly, connected with each other, and feeling each other's pain, and the pain of the separation. Both of them were feeling it, yes. So they were all heart. I'm going to answer this question in a different few ways and covering different little things, so that whatever resonates and whatever makes sense to you, because there's so many out there in the collective, I'm going to try and make a little sense to hopefully all who come and watch. So they were all heart and intuition, and hence whatever you have studied, you would understand that is the feminine energy or the yin. So both were in the yin. Okay, what was lacking in both of them was determination. They were not action oriented. They were not actually thinking or standing up for what they stood for. They just gave in, and they were just sitting, and he was writing poetry and remembering her, and much though we like to swoon on that romance bit, but neither of them, not even turn wise, were they taking charge of the situation. And we are the lucky ones. Yeah, I'll come to this towards the end of the video. I mean that sarcastically, we are the lucky ones. Now, along with the yin and yang that needs to be in balance, I'm going to explain now, go back, why I'm trying to do these stories chronologically is, as the society changed, the parameters, the rational was changing, evolving, and that also impacted the institution of marriage. Society has always been very scared of true love and of lovers because they're not afraid. They break all the rules and boundaries. They don't really care then about societal norms or certain things. So society has always been very scared of true lovers and them uniting, which is why they go out of their way to separate them always. They make it about honor, they make it about a lot of things, but essentially everyone around is very scared of true lovers uniting, or have been in the past. So by and by, not going back too many centuries because then it would take all day, but a few centuries ago, if you look at the marriage, even in Europe, I'm not just talking India or Asia, but this is prevalent here even currently, so you can kind of draw parallels. So those people would marry more like a business alliance, more for utility purpose. Now you've come of age and you need someone to run your household and to bear your children, along with dowry. I'm again reminding you, I'm talking about Europe. So that was where first the man became very practical, moved away from romance, and chose marriage based on practicality, convenience, utilitarian purpose of a woman or the spouse. The spouse was Mrs. So and so and had to give up her individuality completely, even her surname. For the pretty much long time, the women remained the property of their husbandry, losing her sense of self completely. Careers were like out of the question. Then came along World War I and World War II. And since a lot of men, most of the men were out in the wars, the women had no option but to come out of their homes where they had been neatly tucked away and start earning the bread and butter, empowering their masculine side. They came out and they started taking charge of their families, and yet they remained very loyal and committed to the institution of marriage. But the inner masculine had started getting empowered. And when the men came back, it was very difficult for them to go back to being just, having no say in any matter all over again. Once you find freedom, it's very hard to give it up, in whatever little matter it might be. Now by and by, I'm cutting short, I'm not covering everything, yeah. Just read between the lines what I'm trying to say, and I'm not saying I'm being historically or like I'm being very accurate or something, but I'm just trying to bring about a certain point to your notice what has been happening. By and by, some women, I won't say all, some, the tables kind of turned. And when they had gone through so much poverty or going without certain things, and they started looking for, and this has been happening from whenever, even the time when the man was marrying, for a utility purpose somewhere, and mostly parents decide it's for the good. They wanted stability and security, be it the parents or the woman herself. They started looking for a husband who would provide financial security, where she did not have to struggle so much, even for the basics. Now, everyone has got inside their brain. The love that used to be there earlier has been completely sidelined. Everyone started the society. And who are we? We are the output of that society. Generation after generation, the society brainwashed people that marriage should be for status, for power, for money, for stability, for procuring children, for raising a family, and nothing else. Romance is for teenagers, and that's about it. And in Asia, romance is not for teenagers at all. Their parents would whack them, the other parent would create one full ruckus, and there would be full drama. So there's no place for romance in our country, or till now it hasn't been. Somehow love, romance, sex, everything seems to be jumbled up in one, and it is to be done only with your spouse, and that's it. Why do you need to have compatibility? You just have to make it work. That's the attitude. Now that brought us from this sacred space of our heart and unconditional love into very, very conditional love. And it was no longer love. It was that now we are married, we have to make it work. Be it for our sake, for children's sake, for society's sake, for our parents' happiness sake. And especially after lavish weddings, nobody wanted them to split, because that would be money gone down the drain. So everything became about money, and it was very calculated. It was no longer about the love. So it became very, very conditional. So we talked about yin and yang. We've talked about how it turned into a very conditional institution and moved completely away from love. And the impact of it obviously got shown with lesser and lesser true love stories happening in that time period, or them again failing because of XYZ reasons. By and by, when we reach those stories, we'll understand that. The next example I'm going to tell you is, then in the last few decades, a switch started happening, because more and more indigos were being born from 60s, 70s. The hippie movement happened, a lot of things happened, and people started saying, I want to know who I am, and I don't want to live or do the professions that everyone has been doing, apart from being a doctor or lawyer, you know, a banker. There has to be something that I feel pulled towards, and people wanted to find at least joy in the work that they need to do every day. Some of them are going through that process now, finally, but it started somewhere in the 60s and 70s, yeah. And yet now look at how people started choosing their spouse. Those who were given the opportunity to choose, those who have handed over their power, still choose, or rather given to arranged marriages. In small towns in India, arranged marriage is the only reality even now. Love is still frowned upon. Forget about inter-caste or inter-religion. Just even choosing your own spouse, and they call you shameless, because they associate love with sex. It's never about finer emotions. So now look at the relationships based on chakras. The relationship for basic security, safety being provided for is root chakra. It's fear-based of not having it. So somebody else is going to provide it to me, right? The next being lust-based, which got misunderstood to be love marriages, where there was pure attraction, and because by and by you had forgotten what true love is all about. When you were so attracted to someone, it became something that they were willing to fight for. But I call that lust marriage. That is sacral chakra based marriage or relationship. When I say marriage, please don't think about a religious institution. I'm talking about any even live-ins, even any committed relationship, you know, what are called affairs here. If it's, as long as it's not something of very short duration, and that to mutually understand, whatever. Anyway, I'm digressing. Now when you move up, a marriage that is done to improve one's status, honor, name, power, that is based in your solar plexus, ego. Some, of course, still marry for love, and you find them and you think they're so cute, and they might have very little in the financial world, and they might have very modest jobs and all, but they're so happy together. And those are the couples that are our true inspiration, you know. They work, they lead their lives, but whatever. Beautiful. They're people, of course, they marry from their heart. Then, the marriage that we have spoken about previously from here. Convenience, arranged marriages. It serves one purpose or the other. You have children, you need someone to take care of them, so you get a second wife. Convenience, from here. It's based on some logic. These are need-based. Now, why I said we are the lucky ones. The universe decided enough is enough. The cycle had completed. It's a Kal Chakra always. There's a wheel that is in movement and time changes. And then after reaching a point, it will collapse again. And it will start again. So, vis-a-vis ascension, we all were asked to become complete individuals. What does that mean? Bring your yin and yang into balance, your inner masculine and inner feminine. Which means it's important for every man and every woman to be nurturing, to listen to their intuition, as well as have inner determination and take power and take charge of their life, their responsibility. It's your responsibility. Everything is yours. And only you are responsible. This is going to trigger a lot of you, but I'm not taking classes. And there's a very specific purpose why I'm sticking to love stories, which I have already mentioned. If you haven't heard, please watch my video called Why Love Stories, because as I'm talking about this now, it very nicely ties up. The first job is to balance our inner masculine and feminine. And then, of course, I'm not saying it's in this particular order. I'm just saying these are the things. The balance and activation of all our chakras, not just one, and especially not in relationships. But before we can get into a relationship with another being, we need to first have our inner balances. Okay, so chakras. Then the balance between your left brain and your right brain. You can't be just reckless. You can't be just fanciful. You can't be always in your daydreams. You do need to convert a lot of ideas into practical applications. So when you make that bridge, that is awareness. That is when you are, awakened, let's say. When you are consciously applying awareness. When you're aware, when you're... and then, of course, the balance and letting go of the past, of not worrying so much about the future, being present here and now. That's another very crucial lesson for all of us. Then we keep blaming everyone else, including our twin flames, for everything we feel, for everything we go through. Hence the broken record. It's about you. If you're feeling it, find out from where it's coming. Is it a childhood wound? Has it been happening before? Then it's a pattern. How far does the pattern go? Do you need a therapist? A past life regression? What do you need? You need to clear it out of your system. You, and only you, can do your inner work. It's taking your power back. Instead of being, blaming the other for what's happening to you, you need to take the charge back, right? Now the advantage, and I have very little time, is twins are on two ends of the seesaw. Yeah, but the more one does the work, the other automatically does the work, and soon they both are sliding closer and closer to each other. And when they hear, this does not happen so much. The upswing, downswing, one is running, one is coming, one is pushing, one is pulling. That starts reducing. So the more you focus inward first, and then out. It is also again an in and out. This most people forget to teach. That is the purpose of my channel, to bring you back to the romance. I have to now end this video, but I'll continue in my other videos, as well as I will be narrating the next story. And for those of you who are watching right now, I wish you all a very happy new year. May it bring all your dreams, desires, reunions to all of you. Please do keep watching, and please don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, share please with like-minded people. I'm new on YouTube. My channel is very new, so please do share. I love you all. This is Nikita Bhargav.